we have large fires in here. This was nothing. So how long have we been burning with this? For quite a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've had a lot of fires in there.
A lot of fires. And it was here before we got here. So.
Years. This thing has been here for
Yeah.
years. And so let's talk about this. The bricks, are they exploding?
They are not exploding.
Okay.
One that's got a little crack in it.
There's a few of them that are cracked.
Yeah.
Which is what happens when you burn concrete.
Yes.
It'll
not cement.
Yeah. Well, so this fire pit gets wet and we burn in it, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
People talk about, oh, if concrete blocks get wet, they'll explode and they'll go 50 feet in the air.
Have you seen any video of that?
No, I haven't seen any video proof, but everybody says. So I think that concrete can get wet and can pop. I believe that if it's exposed to intense enough heat. That what we have here is what millions of people around the world have without any trouble. That's because they're not throwing wet blocks on the fire, but we may do that.
We have done that.
Video.
I'm very excited about today's video.
Okay. Today, Farm Girl and I we're gonna debunk some myths, and we're just gonna talk about rocket stoves.
We love rocket stoves.
We love rocket stoves, and we have done so many videos on this. We've had at least 25 million views on our rocket stove videos.
So everybody else likes them too.
And we've been using, a lot of people enjoy this. We've been using these same blocks over and over again. But today we want to talk about the safety aspect of burning or using these cinder blocks to make fire or around fire or what have you.
In fire.
In fire. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have Farm Girl construct yet again this rocket stove and show you how she makes a really nice working cooktop with 4 cinder blocks, or in this case 3.5 is what she's going to use. And like I say, she's done it again and again with the same blocks, and she's never had an issue. But according to some of our detractors on YouTube, the blocks are going to explode and injure her, and we're going to burn the house down. Right?
Let's not do that,
Yeah.
okay?
So we're going to try not to do that today, and we're going to go over safety. Safety is important, people. We understand that. So we're going to talk about safety, and we're going to talk about myth versus truth and science and things like that from a perspective from our perspective, what we understand of it. So before we do anything else, let's put that block on the fire. And let's see if that's the wet one. We have 4 of them, but that one's still wet. And we're going to see if it explodes and knocks a hole in our house. It kills us. Now, wet concrete can pop. It can burst. Letting off when the gas is escaping from the block, anything can happen. So let's leave that for a little while. This is kind of like the one that I burned with gasoline recently. Okay, now let's go back here and put your stove together and show people how it works.
Okay.
All right.
If I can remember how.
What are you going to make for me? You going to cook something to eat?
What do you want?
Okay. And look, speaking of safety, look at the proximity of this grill
To your house.
to our house.
It's wood.
That's wood. So before we get started with the rocket stove, let's talk about cooking and your experience with cooking and fires, both indoor and outdoor, and those kind of things.
So mostly I've cooked inside.
You cook inside of your house?
In the house.
No, that's freaking dangerous.
That's crazy.
That's not being very safe.
Yes.
Why would you do that?
Because it's way more comfortable than coming outside to cook.
You've never used open flame to cook though in your house, have you?
Of course.
Are you crazy?
propane gas.
You don't have like curtains and carpets and towels and
I
linens?
do. I do.
Yet,
It's all contained right there.
that doesn't sound very
It's
safe.
very safe.
All right. So,
And also, I've had wood-burning stoves all growing up. We had
outside,
wood-burning stoves. In the house.
in the house.
We had to carry the wood in.
You carried wood. Stop.
Carried
stop.
wood in the
Wait.
house, stacked it in the house.
Wait, whoa. Nobody does that.
We did it. That's how we heated our house. We didn't have electric heat in the house.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I guess we had it, but we
All right.
never turned it on.
You heard it there, people. Farm Grill was crazy and very, very unsafe. So in reality, millions and billions of people do this.
And we had a fireplace, too.
They have fires in their house. They have Christmas trees, and they cook while there's a Christmas tree in the house. And they have candles and Christmas trees and carpets, and on and on. I'm being a little sarcastic here, but
No.
I've used flames in my house for 50 some years. My family did before I came along.
You always just have to have common sense.
Yeah.
Be careful.
When I was a little boy, let's talk about my history of fire. When I was a little boy, I had a friend named Big John. He was a black kid that lived down the street from me, and he was an awesome young man. I used to see him splitting wood when I would go to school in the morning.
And he probably had to carry it into his house.
He'd be out there splitting wood. I watched his house burn down.
Oh.
I went in his house when I was a kid. We would visit, and the inside of his house there was no drywall. It was an ancient little shack, and he lived with his grandparents, and they shoved newspapers in between the studs to insulate their house.
Oh, wow.
So their house was literally insulated with magazines and newspapers, and they had an old wood
No
burning
wonder it went up.
stove, and his house burned down because that kind of thing
It's like a
happens.
kindling house.
Yeah. My own father played with matches when he was a little boy, set the drapes on fire, and his sister died in the house. So I have some memories and some experience. All right, so let's see if you can remember how to put this together, Farm Girl. Let's put it together on this right up here, on this very dangerous wooden picnic table. All right, so that's the one that she has to be really careful with, because that's the burn chamber there.
We put it on a riser.
If she were to bump this, it would break.
Yeah, it's been used quite a bit. Then this is our cooktop.
You're not going to break our rocket stove.
No. And then we got our feed chamber.
Okay. And that's it, right? I haven't heard any explosion from the fire, have you?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so let's see how you do this. Now,
And then can we put this in here. And that'll just aerate.
a vent. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So explain the concept for everyone. How did it work? What are you going to do?
So, well, you put a little bit of starter in here, like kindling or some pine straw. Put little tiny twigs in there, get the fire started, and then you can start feeding longer sticks in through this way. And it just gives it a little bit of air. You put the sticks on top, and you basically just keep pushing them in, and it's kind of self-feeding almost.
And how? Okay, so let's talk safety. How would you burn your house down? What's Well, I can answer that by not employing some basic safety.
Well, yeah, we have our
ideas.
hose bib right there.
Yeah, and we always
You
have
can have a fire extinguisher.
fire extinguishers
handy.
nearby. Yeah.
Yep. We have one right around the corner.
Yep. So, why is the house not going to burn down? Because
We're watching it.
we're watching it and we're
gonna
using
make
a
sure.
tiny fire. See,
Yeah.
this is what people get hysterical about this stuff. What's happening here? Okay, let's address the concrete block exploding thing. The concrete block is not going to explode, and here's why. We've got out there a block in the fire. No problem. This is not a block in a burning a house
Yeah.
or a bonfire. It's a block that has a tiny amount of fire right in here, and it just can't superheat.
Right.
it can't superheat so fast that the gas is trying to escape and has nowhere to go because the block's wet and it explodes. It's just not going to happen. However, don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do this because it's likely to explode for you. It's not.
I mean, if you can think of it, it's happened.
Yeah.
So
it's not going to explode for us. Let's just say that. So we don't recommend that anybody else do this. If you're an adventurer, you do what you want to do. But so what happens is the fire ends up on the top of this block. This is the base. The top of this block becomes the base. And then it heats the walls a little bit, and it goes up through here. And then you have your grill. You can put a little baking or a little stovetop grill on here. We've taken them from our indoor gas grill. And you can put that there and put a pan and ostensibly
cook up some boigas.
You can cook chili, you can fry eggs, you can do what you need to do. And it just takes a little time and patience. But this is not something you use for everyday cooking. It's something you use for what? For like emergencies or...
Right, or
if you're
out camping somewhere.
Well, you don't want to lug this stuff out camping.
Well, if you have a truck with you.
But you could, right?
Yeah, put it in the back of your truck.
So
there you go. You can even put it over a fire pit.
Also, it's important to remember that this is for demonstration purposes only. This is not typically where you would want to construct something like this anyway. You would put something like this out on a gravel patch in your yard or on a concrete patio, etc. Alright, it's been burning for a good 20 or so minutes now. Fire's going out, so we're going to re-stoke the fire. Yeah, that's been on some intense heat. Nothing yet. Still burning.
We don't get too close.
Yeah. So I want to show you some footage of the block. I went when I was at the farm recently. I doused a block with gasoline.
Very dangerous.
And I set it on fire, and it was a damp one. And I have some footage from that.
Is it that one?
No, it's still at the farm. All right, let's get some fire. Are you gonna get it? This is particularly hot fire here.
Yeah, it's gonna heat that bowl up pretty quick.
Yep, it is.
You're tough.
I've always said if you're going to be dumb, you better be tough. Okay. So that's hot fire going down. And now, see, ordinarily you build this fire. I'm cheating here just to make a point. Now look in here. Can you see it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now you can watch the other videos. Let's run some of the footage. What you do is you feed twigs through here. This is kind of your feeding tube, right? Mm-hmm. You feed twigs, or on top actually, and you let this can be your vent. You don't need this, but it can help vent the fire. And you push twigs and things, or bark, what have you, over that. And look, this is heating up here enough to cook, enough to boil water if you keep feeding that. So the concept is basic. It gives you the ability to cook, to boil water, to sterilize things with a minimal amount of fuel, just twigs and pine straw. So, and you see, I'm not burning the house down yet. I'm keeping a close eye. I'm not gonna build a flame that goes up to my ceiling. I'm gonna put a pot on over this soon if I want to cook. And everything's cool. Yeah, true, it's not ideal to put it on a wood surface because I don't want to damage this, frankly. I don't want to have a hot ember pop out here and damage this. But if it does, again, it's not going to burn the table down before I can tend to it. So I just think that people allow themselves to get hysterical.
Well, people like drama.
It's good. It's like dogma almost. Like it's a religion. Yes, be safe, but don't be dogmatic about it, and don't be insulting to people, you know? As far as grills, as far as outdoor cooking in general, any of this goes, It is way, way at the bottom of the list of reasons houses burn down. The big ones are smoking inside,
Yeah.
candles inside,
Yeah.
Christmas tree, lights, open flames of any kind in the house. And this, by comparison, almost never burns your house down. It will, though. If I left this thing raging unattended this close to this wood, I could have problems. That's why I don't leave it turned on. And if I'm going to run that risk of leaving it turned on, it's on wheels. I can pull it away from anything. I would never have it near vinyl. That's a good reminder for people, right?
Yes.
How
You don't
many
want to
times-
melt your side of your house.
How many times have you seen the sides of houses melted where people have had their barbecues?
Grills.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go check on our block one more time. Rover, he's so cute. He's such a good boy. Yeah, still no pops or explosions.
Ooh, you're getting pretty close there.
Yeah, I know. And
Okay, so that's our safety video for the day.
yeah, that's it.
Anti-safety video. No.
Did we just do an anti-safety video? Oh
No, we always want people to be safe.
We have a good friend
Be
who's
safe and use common sense.
yeah. We have a good friend who makes his living in the safety
That's right.
industry.
He thinks we're crazy.
Yeah. But nothing yet. So if we burn it overnight, we might end up with a crack or something. But although it was damp, you can see you see how it's drying out, and up around the top it's still a little damp. It's slowly been letting its moisture out. It's still very hot. So how many times have we used this exact burner? Really, did we mention that?
Many times.
Many,
I
many
don't know how
times.
many.
Too many to recall.
Yeah.
We've used the same exact blocks. Oh, and the other thing I want to remind people, if you decide you want to build one of these, you're going to have to invest in a blade, if you don't have one, to make this cut right here. Oh God, that's going to fall out and set the house on fire. Well, let's just see if the house, let's see what happens.
Whoa.
Okay, there's a hot ember. This is really out of
Get that
control.
off my table.
Okay. Oh, there's another hot ember. Oh, table didn't start on fire yet. We're tempting fate now. Don't do this, people. Don't try this at home. I'm a stuntman with IMDb credits. Okay.
God.
You need a blade that cuts concrete to make this cut. You just go in like this. You cut right here, and you cut right here, and you drop this piece. You're removing the end piece of the block. And that way you stay even from end to end, rather than the first time I built one of these, I cut the end of the block off and it was never even structure. So it's good to
smart.
remember. All right, I'm going to take this out and put it on the burning block, as it were. I've had it completely engulfed at times with flame. Now it's sitting on a hot pile of embers. I want to remind people, please don't do this yourself. Please don't try this. Anyway, okay.
All right.
Well, there goes our proverbial dead horse. Beat the hell out of it, didn't we?
Yep.
All right.
Now we're done.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks for watching, everyone.